a Raspberry Pi purely for industrial and professional usage. This, in essence, is the raison d'etre for the Compute Module 5. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to use a Compute Module 5 and you need to get started quickly, you should purchase the development kit. I recently was in this situation, and in the following steps I will show you what's inside, what you get, and also a little bit how to get started. This is the packaging by Farnell, and here we have the actual Raspberry Pi development kit box. And what is quite surprising to me is this actually feels pretty heavy. So we slide this off, and then we get this box here, which we open, and then we already see the sub-modules. First things first, we've got the actual compute module. Then here below, we've got the cooler. And now that we've torn this out, we find a whole lot of additional stuff, namely the power supply, the I/O case, and then an antenna. First things first, USB-C cable, HDMI-A male-to-male cable, and another HDMI male-to-male cable. And yes, this is pretty strange for a bona fide, ecologically friendly company. So much packaging trash for nothing. And now we come to a point which I actually do respect. Here we've got the I/O case. We dig in here, and then we get this whole metal thingy here. And if we look carefully, we see that inside there is already the I/O board. And this is actually a very nice unit. It's pretty heavy. We'll throw it in the precision scale shortly. We see here on the side 4 screws, which we have to open in order to be able to access the case. And here we've got my ever-charming precision scale. I assume it's gonna be minimums 200 grams. I was right. It's 439 dot something. And just because it's cool, here we have it once again in the dark. At the bottom, we find these anti-slip feet. And this is something which I like a lot, because you see, it's pretty well sturdy when it's attached to table, so the assembly doesn't immediately fly off the table. Well, and now it's time to look inside of here. I've got my little screwdriver. Screwy, 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 screwy. These are very, very small screws, as you can see here. But well, there's only 4 of them, so what do we care? One, 2. Then we go over there. 3 and 4. And now, as you see here, the top comes off. And what's interesting is we've got this connection here to the fan. And from my point of view, in practice, I would probably just disconnect the fan and then just let it be, because especially in my case, I will be interacting with this a lot, and so I probably will never use the lid. I know you are burning to find out what's next, but sadly, the reality of the algorithm is I need your help. Down there, like, subscribe, and turn on the ring, ding, 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 ding. And of course, leave a comment if you like it, because only then the channel can grow. Thank you. And because of this, what I like to do is I make such a little package with the 4 screws, and then I get myself some extra tape and glue it into the lid, because I don't think that the average screw shop will actually have this type of screw ready. It doesn't need to be rocket science, doesn't need to be expensive glue. This is just a cheap sticky tape from the Slovak Post, but you see, now these cannot be lost anymore. And now in the next act, we go over it. I see quite a few very interesting things. I mean, here the compute module will sit. And what I find interesting is that here we've got 2 such switches. And these switches permit us to select 3.3 or 1.8 volt GPIO logic. Over here, we've got the M2 slot for whatever M2 we want. And then here at the bottom or at the back, we've got an SD slot. We've got the breakout for the antenna cable. We've got Ethernet. We've got the 2 HDMIs. And we've got some USB ports. So basically, you can interface with this. And then here, you've got the GPIO header, which is where my client wants to connect some additional things. And for the next step, for the bring up, very important. You look here, you see these are differently long. So here it is shorter than here. So the only way to fit it is like this. You look very carefully, place it on top, like you see here, and then you give it a good push. And then it locks in place. And this practically already is the first step of the bring up. If you want to, here you've also got this heat sink with the thermal grease below and some screws for installation. But I'm not gonna be doing this for now, because the compute jobs I will be running on this thing are gonna be absolutely minimal. And in case you do want to use the Wi-Fi, I mean, there is a PCB antenna here, but you can also use the UFL connector and the provided antenna. But in my case, this is irrelevant, because I will, of course, only be using the Ethernet port, because I want to remote into this thing, and it's just faster if you use a wired connection compared to the Wi-Fi. The next step is, of course, the question, how do we get the operating system into the thing? And here there is something very important to keep in mind. If your compute module has an eMMC memory, no matter how small, then the slot in the back is not accessible, the micro SD slot. And instead, you need to make a little charade for the deployment of the software, which we will look at in the next video. For now, just to save you effort, in most cases, such as when you are using the board which was included, this slot here in the front is actually a lie and you cannot use it. If you absolutely insist on booting from eMMC, from the micro SD, you need to buy a module which has no eMMC memory at all. To recapitulate, as of now, it's either eMMC or micro SD, but not both. When it comes to purchasing the thing, you need to be careful, because there are multiple different versions depending on which country you want to use. And here I like this link here from Mauser, because it provides a nice overview. You see here, for example, you've got a US version, you've got an EU version, which is the one I am using, there's a UK version, and a variety of other things. And what you must also keep in mind is that this development kit, like many others, is a high margin product. And so this means in practice that there will be significant price differences. And for this, I like to use OEM secrets. You just go in there with the SCID. Here, this is the one for Europe. And then you can see here the different prices at the various distributors. And you see here, it's between 124 and 142. So that's more than 10% difference, which you can save for your own project budget.